Hey, crypto friends, my name is Garrett, and I am a crypto day trader who absolutely loves helping others with their trading. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I make $1,000 a day trading the crypto market or more. Now, for those of you who love trading crypto and would like to try out the same exchange that I use on a daily basis, feel free to go ahead and try out the Blowfin exchange here with the link in the video description down below this video. I personally love this exchange because they allow anybody from anywhere to be able to sign up and trade crypto futures. So if you're one of those people and you want to trade crypto futures, you can do it right here on the Blowfin exchange. All right, guys, so we are just going to go ahead and I'm going to dive right into this video. All right, so before we actually get to the charts and before I actually show you what I do, I'm first going to explain what I actually do, okay, or how my overall strategy actually works, okay? So trading account size. Trading account size is first, all right? I typically enter trades with $5,000 to $10,000 at a maximum of 20x leverage, but most times it is usually around 10x leverage. And some people might think that this is too much because of risk management, but $5,000 to $10,000 is only a very small portion of my overall trading account. Therefore, I can comfortably afford to enter trades with this kind of capital and comfortably afford to lose a couple $100 when my stop losses end up getting hit. All right. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about here is using Heiken Ashi candles, okay? I use these types of candles simply because I use these candles instead of standard candles simply because my personal trading strategy relies heavily on support and resistance failures that ultimately lead to reversals. And also, using these types of candles helps me to be able to gauge overall momentum much easier with my strategy as well, all right? Now, when I'm talking about these Heiken Ashi candles, what I'm talking about here is when you go up to this little spot right up here on TradingView, you click it. You're probably using just regular standard candles right here. If you scroll down, I am using Heiken Ashi candles, all right? And as you can clearly see, they look pretty much similar, but realistically, you can gauge overall momentum much easier by using these candles, all right? Now, as far as timeframes go, I do not trade on any specific time frame. There's a lot of beginners out there who think to themselves, they get all confused because they just don't know what kind of time frame to use, okay? Realistically, as a trader, you are using all time frames. You're not using just any specific time frames, okay? And what I mean by that is you aren't looking at any specific time frame. You're looking at all of them. You want to find setups. It's all a matter of which time frame you find a setup on, okay? I don't trade on any specific time frame like I was saying. Basically, what I do each morning is I go through all of my coins here on my watch list, as you can clearly see. As you can also see, the only coins that I have on my watch list are all coins within the pretty much the top 50 by overall market cap on CoinMarketCap. And the reason why I only have these types of coins is because I don't like to take on unnecessary risk more than I have to. I know that all of these coins within the top 50 by market cap, they all have a high amount of trading volume on a daily basis at any given time. Therefore, I always know that there's always going to be a good amount of trading volume with these coins at all times. All right. So that is basically why I choose to trade only the top 50 by market cap, or only the more mainstream coins within the top 50 by market cap. Okay. Now, as far as where was I? Oh yeah. So what I do is I look through all of these coins, every single one of them, every single morning on every single time frame, mainly just the 1 hour or the 4 hour charts. Is what I'm basically looking at. But I will also look at the 15-minute time frame as well, depending on how much time I have available on any given day to trade. Now, obviously, if I only have a few hours to trade on, for instance, the other day I only had a few hours to trade throughout the day. I think I only had like 3 or 4 hours available for me to trade. So instead of looking at the 1 hour or 4 hour charts for potential setups, I only looked at the 15-minute chart for potential setups. All right. So that's kind of what I'm overall talking about here. All right. And if I have all day to trade, meaning, from, 9 a.m. to like 5 p.m. or something like that, then I'll be looking for setups on the 1 hour or 4 hour charts. All right. Now, as far as my strategy goes itself, okay, the only things that I use for my trading strategy is the 7-period SMA, which is the simple moving average, coupled with coupled with support and resistance, okay? So I'm only using one indicator and I'm mixing it in with price action as well, all right? And I typically go long whenever price crosses to the upside over the SMA and when we have shown significant support at a significant support level. Or the opposite is true if I'm looking for potential shorts as well. However, I will not actually go long unless price action itself shows me strong momentum as it's crossing the SMA to the upside, all right? Meaning, if it's just a small, for instance, right here, right here is a perfect example while I'm looking at it. Right here, we crossed the SMA right there, but as you can clearly see, it wasn't very big, all right? It wasn't very big. That tells me it wasn't very strong. Therefore, there's still a tiny bit of bullish momentum left over, all right? And that tells me that obviously it's going to go back a little bit higher. And as you can clearly see, it did right there, okay? And then it eventually dropped, all right? So that's kind of what I am talking about as far as that goes. Now, as far as once I'm in a trade, my personal daily target is always 10% minimum. All right, 10% per day minimum, and I always get out of trades either when I'm either up by 10% or more, or when price action starts to deviate far away from the SMA itself. If we are in a strong downtrend or strong uptrend, okay. Now, I'll go ahead and show you an example of exactly what I'm talking about here because I had a trade that I got into last night. I had a trade that I got into last night, and I wrote it out for. I just got out of it like an hour ago. Basically, what happened was last night I had noticed that Raydium was starting to lose momentum. We were right in here. As you can see right here with my arrow that I've got going on right here, this is where I entered the trade at, or where I ended up placing my potential, or where I placed my short order buy-in right in here, all right? So basically, I had this support level drawn right in here based off of this high that we created back here a couple days ago, and therefore, we went up, as you can clearly see, but that momentum was not sustained, and we were not able to cross above this high level right back in here. That tells me that momentum was not building to the upside, all right? And instead, it was pushed back down, as you can see it on the candle itself right there, and the next candle opened up red right there, and we ended up crossing over the EMA right there, or sorry, the SMA right there, and that is where my buy order was triggered, all right? So I had my buy order triggered right there, and then through the night we ended up going through support right there, and we ended up going through the next support right in here as well, and then I ended up selling a couple hours ago, or like, let's see, it's 1:15 right now. I sold at around noon, so I sold right around in here somewhere. So realistically, I entered that trade with $5,000 of my own money, okay? I entered it with $5,000 and 10x leverage. So therefore my position size overall was $50,000, okay? So if we go ahead and get out the calculator, actually, you know what? We got to figure out what I actually made here, all right? So I got in right around in here, and I sold right around in here, all right? I made roughly around 50% because 5%, multiply that by 10x leverage, that is a 50% profit, okay? So 50% is what I made on that trade. Therefore, I was in it with $5,000. So you take $5,000 and you multiply that by, wouldn't you guessed it, 50%. And I made right around $2,500 overnight on that one trade right there. So that is how I overall go about how I go ahead and am able to make over $1,000 a day here, okay? Now, here's the thing, all right? Overall, making $1,000 a day really is not that hard. It's quite literally the same concept as making, $100 a day. The only difference as to why I'm able to make $1,000 a day is simply because my account size is much, much larger, and I can comfortably afford to enter trades with a much larger amount and take on more risk than a typical beginner trader is able to, simply because, as you can see, I am not using insanely high amounts of leverage or anything like that to make this happen. I just have more capital to work with is all here. So if any of you guys are a new trader and you're wanting to make $1,000 a day, then basically you'll either have to need a larger account size so that you're able to, still manage your risk effectively, or B, start with a smaller account size and work your way up to entering trades with the same amounts that I am, or C, do the irresponsible risky thing and use insanely high amounts of leverage to get you there, which I do not and would not ever recommend you to do. All right. Now, before I go ahead and wrap up this video, if you guys enjoyed this one and you feel like you got some decent value out of it, please be sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the like button below the video, and with that said, thank you guys for watching.